Welcome to our 27th devotional video of LightHouse KinShip, Intermission. Today is Monday, September 27th, 2021. Monica and I are here at a scenic overlook on the Theodore Roosevelt International Highway in Danville, Vermont. Intermission, a brief pause during two periods of activity.
Perhaps you are like me when you hear the word intermission. Certain movies come to your mind. The Ten Commandments with Charlton Heston as Moses and Gone with the Wind with Clark Gable as Rhett Butler. Currently, Bobby and I are in a waiting period again, but this time God placed the word intermission into my heart. For our third devotional video, Bobby and I were camped in Cherokee, North Carolina, for several weeks waiting for spring to break free from winter.
Proverbs 16:9 NLT. We can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps.
Our plans, God's piloting: Blue Ridge Parkway, Shenandoah National Park, Skyline Drive, Connecticut, coastal Maine, New Hampshire's mountains, then autumn in Vermont for God's display of His breathtaking artistic creation.
Deuteronomy 11:13 and 14 NIV. So if you faithfully obey the commands I am giving you today, to love the Lord your God and to serve Him with all your heart and with all your soul, then I will send rain on your land in its season, both autumn and spring rains.
The canvas is out, the paintbrush is in God's divine hands. The vibrant, adventurous reds are beautifully stroking the tips of the leaves. But wait, the energetic orange will appear with a second stroke of God's divine paintbrush. Then with another stroke of the Master's hand, the splendor of yellow will come bursting forth.
Intermission, a brief pause during two periods of activity. Proverbs 16:1 NLT. We can make our own plans, but the Lord gives the right answer.
Thursday, September the 16th, 2021. Allegiance Truck in Colchester, Vermont. We asked them to please help us. We have a knocking underneath the RV. Not only a knocking, but our back brakes that we were told in January were just fine. They are not fine. Part of the knocking issues were addressed while we were waiting Thursday. For our other concerns, Bobby called back on Tuesday, September the 21st, and we were told that all but one part would be in within a week, and that one part would not arrive until the middle of October.
Psalms 33:18 and 20 Amplified. Behold, the eye of the Lord is upon those who fear Him and worship Him with all inspired reverence and obedience. On those who hope confidently in His compassion and loving kindness, we wait expectantly for the Lord. He is our help and our shield.
After our waiting period in Cherokee, North Carolina, Bobby and I realized why it was important to look to the Lord to establish our steps, because He always has the correct path at the precise time we need to move forward. If we had been impatient and moved forward without God piloting us, we would have been without places to camp. The further we traveled north and northeast, we clearly understood the waiting, because most of the campgrounds did not open until late May, and they closed between late September and the middle of October.
Proverbs 28:26 NLT. Those who trust their own insight are foolish, but anyone who walks in wisdom is safe. Proverbs 9:10 NLT. Fear of the Lord is the foundation of wisdom. Knowledge of the Holy One results in good judgment.
Bobby and I are not clear about our intermission. We are a little perplexed about a brief pause during two periods of activity. Intermissions in our lives can be brief pauses with small inconveniences or extremely lengthy, unbearable circumstances. This brief intermission concerning the part for our RV is a small inconvenience, not anything that is perplexing. God sent us to our RV. Billy Graham. The will of God will not take us where the grace of God cannot sustain us.
1 John 5:14 and 15 NIV. This is the confidence we have in approaching God, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. And if we know that he hears us, whatever we ask, we know that we have what we have asked of him.
We are perplexed about our 10 years of an intermission. Joseph had 13 years of an intermission. His intermission began with his brothers' hatred and jealousy of him to the point that they put him in a pit at the age of 17, then sold him as a slave, Genesis 37. Joseph's intermission continues as he is sold to Potiphar.
Genesis 39:1 NLT. When Joseph was taken to Egypt by the Ishmaelite traders, he was purchased by Potiphar, an Egyptian officer. Potiphar was captain of the guard for Pharaoh, the king of Egypt.
Now Joseph's situation seems to be improving, but wait, what is lurking in the darkness? Watch out for those Delilahs and Jezebels.
Proverbs 12:4 ESV. An excellent wife is the crown of her husband, but she who brings shame is like rottenness in his bones. Genesis 39:6b to 9, 11 and 12, and 16 to 20 NLT. Joseph was a very handsome and well-built young man, and Potiphar's wife soon began to look at him lustfully. "Come and sleep with me," she demanded. But Joseph refused. "Look," he told her, "my master trusts me with everything in his entire household. No one here has more authority than I do. He has held back nothing from me except you, because you are his wife. How could I do such a wicked thing? It would be a great sin against God." One day, however, no one else was around when he went in to do his work. She came and grabbed him by his cloak, demanded, "Come on, sleep with me." Joseph tore himself away, but he left his cloak in her hand as he ran from the house. She kept the cloak with her until her husband came home. Then she told him her story. "That Hebrew slave you've brought into our house tried to come in and fool around with me," she said. "But when I screamed, he ran outside, leaving his cloak with me." Potiphar was furious when he heard his wife's story about how Joseph had treated her. So he took Joseph and threw him into the prison where the king's prisoners were held, and there he remained.
What an unbelievable, unbearable intermission for Joseph. The first 17 years of Joseph's life was spent in luxury compared to what Joseph's life is now. Joseph's circumstances are beyond his control or his understanding. After years in prison for a crime Joseph did not commit.
Genesis 41:14 to 16 and 46 ESV. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they quickly brought him out of the pit. And when he had shaved himself and changed his clothes, he came in before Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I have had a dream, and there is no one who can interpret it. I have heard it said of you that when you hear a dream, you can interpret it." Joseph answered Pharaoh, "It is not in me. God will give Pharaoh a favorable answer." Joseph was 30 years old when he entered the service of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went through all the land of Egypt.
Moses had 40 years of an intermission. King David had 15 years of an intermission. Bobby and I have had 10 years of our intermission.
1 Peter 1:24 and 25 NLT. As the scriptures say, people are like grass. Their beauty is like a flower in the field. The grass withers and the flower fades, but the word of the Lord remains forever, and that word is the good news that was preached to you. Nahum 1:7 NLT. The Lord is good, a strong refuge when trouble comes. He is close to those who trust in him.
Genesis 50:18 to 21 ESV. His brothers also came and fell down before him and said, "Behold, we are your servants." But Joseph said to them, "Do not fear, for am I in the place of God? As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring about that many people should be kept alive as they are today. So do not fear, I will provide for you and your little ones." Thus he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. This concludes our 27th devotional video of LightHouse KinShip, Intermission.
Monica and I thank you for traveling along with us today here at the Marshfield Falls on Marshfield Brook in Marshfield, Vermont. Come along and journey with us by subscribing to our channel. Hit the little notification bell so that you won't miss our next stop. And also give us a thumbs up. And we would appreciate you sharing these videos on your social media platforms. And thank you for leaving your comments below and how these devotions are helping you. And also, if you'd leave your prayer requests, we'd like to know how we can pray for you.